Hi, my name is Anand Venugopal. I am joining you from San Jose, California. Pleasure to be here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are, as you listen to this and see this. I lead Strategic ISV Alliances at Confluent. And it's really a pleasure to be here in the Real Time Data Summit and support our partners, Aerospike, in this event. As you all most likely have heard, Confluent is the company behind Apache Kafka that runs a lot of real-time data streaming pipelines all over the world in probably more than 125,000 companies. And Confluent is now offering what we call the data streaming platform, and which can be the central nervous system of any organization. And I'm here excited to talk about this and to kind of chart out the journey from how you can go from a data mess to data products, right? So that's what this talk is all about. So going right into it, um, why do you need? I use the word data streaming. So let's look at what data streaming is and why it has become an essential part of every modern infrastructure and how it can help set your data in motion across your enterprise to achieve data transformation. Um, I'll begin with something we all know is true today. Data powers the modern world, whether it's gaining a rich view of your customers' habits so their experiences can be more personalized, or letting your consumers know what they can get even before they know they want it, or validating the legitimacy of a transaction as it happens. Every company and software is built around the application of data the moment it occurs to power real time customer experiences and also to improve efficiencies in your backend operations, right? And launch new products and services. And recently, with with the resurgence of AI, especially of Gen AI, many organizations are attempting to find new ways of real time, deriving value from real time data and their most critical asset, which is their data, right? But here's the problem. Like most enterprises, your teams are finding it really hard to integrate data across your applications, systems, and teams, and deliver customer or employee experiences that make sense, right? The architecture, like you see here, is like a giant data mess inhibiting, transformation. Um, it really looks like this in the real world. Okay, and it's an untenable amount of point to point connections that's rigid, complicated, and expensive, making it too difficult and time consuming to to innovate, right? And it's also very cost prohibitive as well. Now, it's worth taking a step back and asking how you got here. If you looked at the state of things from over a decade ago, data mostly existed in two popular locations, right? The operational databases on the left side here, and the data warehouse on the right side. These two planes have different use cases, different consumers of data, and as a result, the nature and topology of how data is created and shared was also completely different. So on one side, you got the operational estate, all the systems you use to actually transact your business in real time, like your ERP, CRM apps, billing systems, etc. And on the other hand, you have your analytical estate, all the systems you use to do after the fact analysis and make decisions about the business, right? So things like data warehouses that drive marketing campaigns or financial analysis or dashboards. So you typically write a bunch of expensive code to make the operational apps work together, and you run some batch or ETL, ELT jobs to move data from the operational side to the analytical side. But neither is really frozen in time, right? They're rapidly evolving, becoming more and more complex every day, right? There's been an explosion of new business applications and new SaaS applications and best of breed tools. New cloud services and architectural paradigms are being adopted. while maintaining an on-prem footprint, right? You have an on-prem footprint as well as multiple cloud footprints, right? Your teams are moving from monolithic apps to microservices, and you still have to wire everything together, make everything work, and meet the expectations of your customers. And that same complexity is being manifested on the analytical side as well, on the right side, right? You're still trying to bring together data from all your operational data stores into the analytical estate so you can meet the growing demands of your various business stakeholders. And not only is each side of this operational analytical divide getting more complex, the two sides are increasingly interdependent. So your analytics don't just drive dashboards, they often drive automated processes back into the operational world. For instance, when your shipping system is in a meltdown, you don't want just the dashboard to turn red. You want to proactively reach out to your key customers, reprioritize your shipping, and update the shipping times on your website. So now here's the problem. Unfortunately, these two systems don't talk to each other, or don't talk effectively to each other, don't talk consistently to each other. It's impossible to construct a view that spans across all of your stored data as well as your real time data. Every application you build essentially has a limited view on the data, and there's a whole other world of data it just cannot access, right? So this has led to decentralized teams and tech unintentionally locking the business value of data in departmental silos. Now, of course, nobody planned this to be like this, right? So the result is long latencies, stale data, and immature governance that really impedes transformation. Um, so what was once one or two batch systems or messaging middleware or a few APIs have suddenly become a giant sprawl of point-to-point messy connections that holds back your teams. Now, bottom line, all of this translates to wasted time and money and inability to deliver the kind of real-time experiences demanded by your customers. Now, if you can't hold back the tide of the increasing requirements and existing systems aren't up to the task, what's the answer, right? So there are different approaches here. It's worth pausing for a moment to think about what the solution is not first. It's not just about bolting another layer onto this hodgepodge of technologies that just propagates the problem. It's also not about trying to shoehorn everything into one single data warehouse. Besides the fact that despite decades of vendor pitches, there's never been one true database and warehouse that solves all problems for all use cases. So more than that, the data warehouse also was never designed or meant to be a gateway to enable free movement of data. It was designed to store data to support large analytical queries and visualization tools. So by centralizing everything all into a single platform, you're just moving the problem from one place to another. And if the data was sort of messy and hard to integrate beforehand, just dumping it into a warehouse without transforming it doesn't actually solve the problem. I mean, we all know what happened in the era of Hadoop. Everybody put data into the data lake on their Hadoop clusters, and it became a large data swamp. I have personally seen like 30, 35, $50 million projects of putting out a Hadoop cluster and sending all the data there become like completely scrapped because of the mess it became. So how do you break down the data barriers in your organization, right? So you need a better way to put your data to work, package it like you would a product, so the rest of your organization can discover and instantly consume high quality, trustworthy data for their use cases, right? So you need to shift the conversation from where is my data, how do I query it, is it trustworthy, to what is my data and how do I get value out of it immediately, right? You need to shield data consumers from the underlying complexities of the data sources, decoupling the data set from its systems, making it discoverable and accessible as an asset. Now, that would be completely reimagining how data is made available within your organizations and how systems and applications and teams can work together in concert with each other to innovate faster and meet the demands of the business, right? So, this is where the data product concept comes in, right? While for some teams, a data product is not anything new, for many organizations, it's quite an abstract concept. So let me take a moment to address how to apply a product thinking to your data. So imagine all the entities in your business, right? So customers, accounts, claims, inventory, shipments. Each of these entities is a data product. And instead of querying data from dead rows in a database, each of these data products are live. They're being continuously enriched, continuously governed, and continuously shared so your teams can build with trustworthy data sets faster and drive greater reuse, unlocking the full potential of data the moment it is created, right? The moment it's created. We are in the real time data summit, right? So the moment it's created, it's available. So, what kind of usage are we talking about, right? So, you may, for example, fuse multiple relevant live data products like customers' accounts and web logins or transactions to get a 360-degree view of every touch point on a customer account to dynamically create appropriate threat scores and prevent a fraudulent activity from happening. Or you may mix and match one or more of these live data products to bring real time data to your customer loyalty service or delivery management systems. And unlike your current operating model, where each use case team spends hours and days of their time identifying and searching for data processing into the right format or building bespoke data sets, your teams can have frictionless self-service access to leverage these standardized data products and use them independently or together to derive business value. So now this enables your teams to operate autonomously, move forward with speed and agility, and cope with rapidly changing demands of the business, right? So you reduce the total cost of ownership and the risk and burden of data governance with this concept. Now, so instead of a negative network effect, you now have a new system where you end up with a virtuous cycle with each new data product increasing the value of others and enabling more innovation that way, right? Amazing concept. You with me so far, I hope, right? Evolution from data mess to data products. So we're now at the heart of it. I'm about to tell you how this is done or how we do it at the Confluent. So, how do you do it? Instead of putting your systems and applications at the forefront of what you do, you have to start with your data and make it the first class citizen, right? You have to think about all your data, whether it's real time or static, structured or unstructured, transactional or real time, as a network of streams where processing happens immediately and continuously. It's governed as it moves across your enterprise, meeting the security and compliance and governance standards of your organization. And your teams need to be able to coordinate without centralization. And your data needs to be instantly consumable everywhere it's needed, right? So you can accelerate the pace of innovation that way. So, what you really need is a central nervous system for your data. So, you can build an effective data flywheel strategy and unlock endless operational and analytical use cases. And that's the Confluent logo right in the middle, enabling that to happen, right? Now, let me get deeper into that and tell you a little bit about how that's done. So, that is exactly what Confluent delivers, right? What we just discussed as central nervous system, and here is the different parts of it. So we can clearly see you're now evolving from just streaming to a combination of streaming, processing, governing, connecting, and that's what all put together we call a data streaming platform. So we break down the data barriers within your organization. We liberate data from your silos and make it easily interoperable and enable self service access to well formatted data products in real time. So you unlock endless use cases. So, no more fragmented, duplicative technologies and pipelines, no silos of connectors and processing layers for the operational applications or your analytical systems. And your desire for self service data access to trustworthy data assets can be truly realized. So, that's how we go from data mess to data products, right? And you can see there's different data sources here in the picture. There's processing, there's streaming, there's governance, and all of what we talked about. And then there's data products resulting in driving business value. Now, is this even real or is just a concept? Have real companies done this? So before I end my talk here, let me show you a little bit about who has done this and how what they're saying about it, right? Our experience in life is all basic experiences in life is about food, buying food, going to the bank, right? um, Trading on our app, you know, all of these experiences are now different. And let's see some of these stories very quickly. Instacart, right? At the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020, Instacart experienced its highest consumer demand in history, experiencing 10 years of growth in 6 weeks and across 59,000 locations. So its customer facing applications, back-end systems, and business processes were all put to the test as millions of people turned to Instacart as an essential service to safely get the groceries and goods they needed. They chose Confluent as their data streaming platform to connect different systems and applications that required to update inventory in real time, support Instacart's end to end order fulfillment process from the time an item is added to a cart to when it's delivered to a customer. So now they're able to reuse the same data to improve their recommendation algorithms and incorporate these real time signals for better search personalization and stronger fraud detection, bridging the operational and analytical divide with real time data streams. Walmart, another great story, right? They've been partnering with Confluent to transforming their entire business. And you'll see here a quote from the VP of Walmart.com saying that Kafka and Confluent are the backbone of their omni-channel transformation and success. Another very inspiring story I always talk about is Capital One. They're modernizing the business of banking, right? And they think of themselves as more of a technology and software company incidentally happen to be in the business of money and finance. So while traditional banks are known for slow and manual processes, Capital One sees banking through the lens of mobile interactions and real-time experiences. You probably have seen their commercials around real-time fraud notifications, real-time notifications of duplicate charges, right? All of this is built on Confluent and Kafka. And so much so that here you see a VP at Capital One saying that events in their data are what's running the business. When I say I'm talking about Kafka here, right? But keep in mind that when we go back and think about that whole picture, is streaming and processing. Processing is Flink, and streaming is Kafka. So the combination of Kafka, Flink, and now Iceberg with Tableflow that we announced in Kafka Summit Bangalore are all coming together to make all of this and even bigger possibilities happen, right? Similarly, success story with Michelin, a company that we trust with our vehicles, our tires, manufacturing at Bosch. So all of these are wonderful companies that make our life better, and they all jumped on the bandwagon of moving from data mesh to data products using Confluent's data streaming platform. So, as a grand finale here, I want to say over 5,000 enterprises have embraced Confluent's data streaming platform to transforming their business. Whether it's redefining customer engagements by building connected experiences or building efficiencies in their backend operations to achieve operational excellence and greater agility or honing their data strategy, data streaming has played a fundamental role to break the data gridlock, drive greater agility and productivity, and turn data into a competitive advantage. And I wish you and your partners the same outcomes, right? So visit us at confluent.io Engage with us. See our keynotes at Kafka Summit Bengaluru in 2024 for a deeper dive into how we make all of this happen, how the technologies all come together. We'd love to engage with you to hear your story and to help you to create data products. Thank you.